Here we are.
It's a smile.
It does, mate. Our first Crypto Like a Pro midday.
Midday crypto like a pro, like a real pro.
Let's see who the pros are that turn up today.
Yeah.
He said, see who follows your link. Otherwise, if no one turns up, then it will just be you and me.
We could have a catch up, can't we?
Why not, mate? See what's going on.
A midday dance.
Yeah, why not? No one's watching. We could just do whatever we feel like.
It feels like a real TV show now, though, with the on-demand element, right? So if you're watching this now, you're either watching it live, so great, or you're just watching it at the power of your own schedule, so great as well. Hi. We were live at midday. If you didn't catch us then and you're watching it now, awesome. We're going to talk about cryptos.
Absolutely.
So for those of you that are logged in, if you can also log in, click on the link to StreamYard, please, so that you can register your name and we can see a photo as well. It just helps us kind of feel like we're talking to real people rather than me and Andy just having a chat.
Which we're happy to do.
Yeah. It sounds fast.
Yeah, it's
faster.
Thing is, normally like it's late at night for me when we do these, so not good to put the fast one on. But maybe you thought midday, let it get him going.
Yeah, me as well.
Might start smashing some plates. Yeah, so guys, if you for those that are live, if you click the link, there should be a link for StreamYard, and we'll be able to then see you and acknowledge you.
Exactly that. This looks like someone new. Kim. Hi, Kim. Happy days. Stay safe and be blessed, both of you. Thank you for those kind words, Kim. Hope you and everybody else had an amazing Easter. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's any new people that catch us at this time, wherever you are around the world. Just say hi. I'm Gavin, the host. This is Andy Demi, the resident professional trader of the group. The man, the myth, the legend. Neil's in the house. Good to have you with us, Neil. Watching live on YouTube. So just a bit of housekeeping. You can also catch this show live on YouTube, as you can the replays as well. So, but if you're on YouTube and you want to get more information, we have a free group. It's called the Crypto and FX Traders Club. Just go to Facebook, type that in, Crypto and FX Traders Club, and you can get access to the group. We post trades. We've got a really great community, crypto traders, FX traders, and everything in between. So we'd love to see you there. Giannis in the house. Good to have you here again, my friend. I recognize the name and the photo. I'm really visual, so I recognize the photos more than the names. How about you?
Yeah, but I'm still stuck on the word Janis because that's not his name. It's Yanis. But anyway.
Oh, is that why I said Giannis, did I?
You said Giannis, yeah. You just massacred his name.
My apologies. Okay. Giari. Hi, Giari. How are you?
Mate, it's up to him to correct you if it's not. Nothing to do with me.
Who, Giari or Giannis? So good to have you with us as well, Gary. I recognize that photo as well, so that's awesome. Apparently the streaming is bugging. I don't know what that means. Good answer, mate. I've been called worse. But have you been called better? I hope for your sake that's a yes, mate. So look, let's jump into things. Obviously, Crypto Like a Pro, the show that covers all things cryptos. And obviously this week we're gonna talk about cryptos, what's been going on. It seems that in the last couple of hours, Bitcoin's chucked its dummy out of the pram again, and it's started to have a little correction. Have you seen that?
What was it at? It's at no, it's still all right. I mean, it's only a minor 58,542. Yeah, no, it's still okay. It's still okay. It's just kind of hovering on that 60,000. But yeah, it's had such a strong run that it doesn't surprise me that it's going to take a little breather. I actually think it's quite bullish, the fact that it's actually hovering. That's actually like a bullish sign, because normally when you kind of get to sort of landmark level, you'll get a correction, and then, which we did get somewhat of a correction, but really relatively to what it's been doing, it's not really been much. It's just consolidating. So the thing with Bitcoin is that it's had a big run, and I still think it's going to go much higher from here, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I heard someone talking that they're saying like in the next couple of years it's going to like 300 or 400K.
I don't know about next couple of years, but I'd confidently say now that we could get to 500K from here in the next 5 years. Would be realistic, which is about a 10x, give or take. But which is good. I mean, the way I'm kind of looking at Bitcoin right now is I'm looking at that as an alternative to holding gold. So gold isn't going to give you 1,000x or 100x if you buy it. It never was going to give you that, over the last 10 years. But it's a sort of bet against inflation. But I feel like Bitcoin has almost taken over as that hedge against inflation. So, as money is going on, for me, like how I'd always take some money out and invest it into gold, I'd rather now be investing it into Bitcoin as well as gold. I'd still keep some gold, but I think I'd be moving more towards putting more money into Bitcoin over gold right now, as that hedge. But it's not what's going to make you life-changing money unless you have a lot to start with. So unless you're sort of, if you've got at least say 100K, then that can add up. So if you were to invest 100K and then hold it for the next 5 years, I'd expect that to be worth over $1 million. But for those that don't have that kind of money and who want much bigger returns, that's not where the opportunity is no longer there, essentially. And I think you have to look elsewhere.
I've also heard about Ethereum is looking to at least 10x by the end of the year. Have you been doing any research on that? Obviously now it's being adopted with Visa and things like that, even more so. And obviously the interesting thing is everybody raves, especially when you're new, everybody raves about Bitcoin, but actually Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin in percentage returns again, right?
Yeah, I think Ethereum is going to be the next $1 trillion coin, which is about a 5x from here. So that you're looking at Ethereum being at 10,000. In terms of timeline, it's hard to say. It's actually very hard to say. But one thing you'll say is like, not many people would have expected Bitcoin to go from where it was 6,000 to 60,000 that quickly. I think it did it in about 12 months, if I'm not mistaken. So, and that's a 10x in 12 months. So can Ethereum do the same from this point? I mean, yes, it can. So in the next 12 months, could we even have an Ethereum at 20,000? It's possible. Could we have Ethereum at 10,000 before 12 months? I definitely think that's possible. I think by the end of the year, it's possible. That Ethereum's at 10,000.
The really interesting and crazy thing is that we're only at maybe 2% adoption. So there's only 2% of people that are actually in the crypto market right now, which is what makes it such an amazing opportunity, right? And that's where these numbers are coming from. So if you're sat there going, well, how are you getting these numbers? Where are you getting these numbers? I mean, you've shown me some ways to actually identify undervalued coins, which is working awesomely. You're seeing it doing, but just basically on the numbers of the sheer adoption rate of how things are taken up, and the lack of people that are actually involved in this market at the moment, it's still crazy that it's moving this quickly, right?
Yeah, and this is the thing. So like, you know, we're at the sort of phase right now where it's still the development phase, and there can't be mass adoption yet. It's not in the mainstream, but I think most probably after this bull run has ended, at some point it will end, and we do get a correction, as all markets do correct. I think, you know, if there is the next bull run after that, may not ever be, you may never get these types of opportunities as we've got right now, because right now you're getting, I mean, it's like, you know, think back when, you know, the .com era started, internet started, and, you know, the opportunity to buy, you know, companies like Amazon and Google and, you know, Facebook, you know, for very, very small amounts of money relative to where they are today. That's literally what we're hunting for right now. We're looking for those types of companies. But I actually think, because of the nature of what cryptocurrencies are, I almost think it's an even bigger opportunity. I think you'll have a lot more, because there's a lot more to it than the internet. So it's almost like the internet 3.0, like as in, or 2.0, whatever you want to call it. But I think there's you know, there's so many opportunities right now, because there's so many different like areas that need to be plugged, like for this to work in the mainstream. So there's so many opportunities for a lot of the cryptos to kind of almost work hand in hand. So I don't think it's going to be like, which one do I need to choose from? I think you need to choose what makes sense, and you have to kind of be a forward thinker. You know, what could potentially, what will we need, and which project is best, has got the best team, the best ideas, the best technology, whatever, like, to profit from that, and which one is undervalued. So it's like a combination of things. So you've got, like, you know, where's the potential, and then which ones offer good value still. So Bitcoin, for example, we could say it could get to 500,000, 500,000, but if it does that, you're only making 10x. You know, there's been coins that I've been in that have made me 10x in 3 months, not 5 years. So that just puts it into perspective. And so, yes, I still think you should invest in Bitcoin as a long-term hedge against inflation. But if you're looking to kind of turn a little into a lot, that's not where you put your money.
And another thing about the adoption rates and stuff like that, I was reading an article this weekend that China have finally got their own cryptocurrency. Do you know how to pronounce their currency?
The yuan?
I know it's spelled. Yeah, I've never been able to spell that, even when I've been going over there doing business and paying for things, stuff like that. It's, yeah, yuan. They've got their own yuan crypto coin now. It's been launched. So that's only going to help mass adoption, especially with Asia and continents and countries taking it on. It's just going to increase the adoption rate and probably speed it up, if anything.
Yeah, potentially. I haven't really, I heard about that, but it's not something I've really looked into too much, to be honest, but somebody did mention it to me. Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely. I mean, all of these things are going to be a great help. And that's, but essentially where it's going to really kind of grow is when it starts to improve, to add value to our everyday lives. And it's like, think about it like this, right? You want to go buy something. I want to go buy coffee. I don't need to take cash. I take my card and I just go zap and I get my coffee, right? We just take that for granted. Like the other day, I went to my Costa Coffee and they were like, cash only today. And I was like, oh, what's happened to your machine? Like, and I'm literally scrambling. I was like, damn, I don't have any cash. So I had to use my points. Luckily I had some points. But the point is just that we're so used to it that is just go bang, wireless transaction. You just buy your stuff quickly and you're out. Like just little things like this. You see how that's just normal to us. And obviously, you know, once this is mainstream, so many things are going to improve, and that's when the value is going to really be there. But the thing is that you need to see that before it's there if you want to profit from this sort of stuff. So if you're kind of still in the camp of saying, "No, I'm not sure," well, the guys that are here probably are not in that camp, but there'll be so many people that are still like, you know, people that we know that, oh, cryptos are a scam, or cryptos are, you know, whatever negative things they think about them. You kind of get your head out the clouds, if I'm being honest, because yes, change is difficult to understand. Like the internet was difficult to understand when it came out, but it's our job to understand it if you want to become wealthy from this opportunity. Like, so you have to be an open person, you have to be open-minded, and then you kind of have to be brave and go against the herd. Those are the sort of the formula, I guess, for wealth building in anything really, but in this instance for sure.
Awesome. So guys, if you just going to say a few more hellos, let us know if the bugging is still an issue. It seems to be okay. No one else has said anything. So Frosty's in the house. We've got Natalie in the house. Thanks for tuning in, Natalie. And we've also got Sab via YouTube. Can you see me? Yes, we can, sweetheart. Yes, we can. So thanks a lot for tuning in. Guys, fire in your questions if you've got any questions about cryptos. And obviously, even if you're tuning in and watching it on demand at a later time, then just fire in the questions, because there'll be one of the team that comes along and swoops this up, so we can always answer your questions in retrospect. Hello, Facebook user, please identify yourself. It's one of the rules of our tribe. Just log into the StreamYard link, and then we get to see your photo and we get to see your name. And that's the way we like to roll. So it's all well and good saying, yes, you know, you've got to do this and you've got to, you know, think outside the box and take a, you know, be brave and all of this sort of stuff. But, you know, proof is in the pudding. Now, I know a little congratulations.
Gavin, you're cutting out, mate. I do apologize, guys. It looks like Gavin has not paid his Wi-Fi again, his Wi-Fi bill. If everybody could top up that donation box, that would be great. Is it just me, guys? Can you hear Gavin? Can you hear me? Sab, can you hear me at the moment, mate? I don't know if it's me or him. He's frozen. Honestly, Frosty, what are we going to do with this guy? He's gone. Yeah, so I've no idea what he was saying, but hopefully he will be joining us. How's everybody doing today with their? You guys trading? No, it's not. Oh, for him, I don't know what time it is over there, to be honest. Must be like 9 p.m. over there. Yeah, Gary, I'm loving it, XRP, mate. Thanks for your question. I don't know if you guys remember. I did on about 2 weeks ago. We did a show, and you know, I was talking about it. That I bought it for 50 cents, if you guys remember, and I said I was going to hold it, and I have held it, and it's absolutely killed it. And this is the thing as well. It's like I'm a believer in. If you asked me about XRP, in terms of, do I like it? Do I like what it represents? Do I like what it stands for? Not particularly, but what I like is making money. So in my opinion, at 50 cents where I bought it, it was undervalued. And what I did with this is, to be honest, is like I didn't even use too much of my own money, but I used margin. And I can bring it up actually. Here he is. I can bring it up and show you. There he is.
So sorry about that, guys. If you're new to the group or you're new to watching the show, my nickname is Wi-Fi because from time to time it's been known to drop out. In my defense, we've got 5G here, but apparently they've been doing work and we've had 4 days of storms, like really heavy storms. So I guess it must be my Wi-Fi. So now I'm moved. I'm sat behind my or in front of my table tennis table. So it's a bit of weird lighting in here, but it's closer to the Wi-Fi. So hopefully I didn't miss much.
I was just talking about, Gary had a question about XRP. So I was just saying that, I don't really like XRP per se, but I was just saying I like to make money. So when I saw it at 50 cents, to me, it just looked way too cheap. Really nice area. So that's when I kind of loaded up on it. And I was just saying the great thing is that I didn't really use too much of my own money. I borrowed a lot of it, and I was able to buy it. And it's more than doubled now. But my investment is a lot more than double, because like I said, I borrowed the money instead of using my own funds, because then I could put my own funds elsewhere. So this is really kind of the keys to growing your account. Is being smart. Like you could go and buy, I could have just gone and bought Ripple and put a few $1,000s into it and made a few $1,000s. But I mean, I can't tell you off the top of my head how much I've made on this one, but actually I could tell you roughly. I probably put in about $3,000, but I've made about 20 grand so far on this trade in about 2 weeks. So like this is what I'm saying. So it's not you don't need a lot of money. You just need to know when to get in and where to have like a stop that makes a lot of sense. So using leverage, using margin. What do I think of it now? Because that's kind of your question now. I'm not letting go of this cryptocurrency right now. So for me, this is, I'm looking to hold this towards $3 and then I'll assess it. So I still think you've got good upside, but you just got to be careful. Your entry is super important. You never chase a market that's running away. Let me just show them very quickly, and then we'll switch back. We can just kind of like rotate. Just quickly show you my screen, so we can just do a little something here. So the obvious thing that you're going to get is the triangle. So let me just see where that takes us, because that's going to be like your pullback here, which we might be at now. And then I'll kind of tell you what you can do to get into this. So we'll take that distance there, we'll project it up from the breakout. So that takes you to about 130, right? So this might just continue up to about 130. What you can then do is, if it does, you could create whatever high point and then just take the sort of roughly where the move has started and just identify like the 618, 50%. These kind of areas here would be your buy areas. So in an ideal scenario, I mean, not for me, but for those that want to buy, you'd get something like that as your pullback zone. That's like, so you kind of go blast, hits the triangle, and then you kind of do that and then up, and then you buy it, say roughly about 80 cents would be ideal. And that's a great price if you can get that. So that will be the next kind of value area. In the meantime, what you can do right now is you can look for trading opportunities on the lower time frames if you want to trade it. But buying long term from here, I'd be a little bit hesitant that you'd get a drawdown. So yeah, I'll stop the share now.
I thought we were going to go into, I kind of peeked too early. I put the nice little graphic, the masterclass, crypto like a pro masterclass.
No, we'll move on.
Let's get rid of that. So yeah, hopefully that's given you some information about that. I did see one question that came in. Kevin, I recognize your name as well. So you're a newbie, like to chat to someone about the crypto course. That's fine. We can organize that. There was another question. Here we go. Facebook user, please log into the StreamYard link so that we know who we're talking to. But however, the question is still a valid one. I'm quite new to crypto and going to spend today learning. Is crypto very different to FX trading? Where do we start?
Yes.
Where do we start?
No, it's very different.
Can I just, I've got an analogy that springs to mind. It's either spending Saturday night with your gran or out with Dan Bilzerian in Las Vegas.
Yeah, maybe that's one.
You couldn't have two more extremes than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more volatile. There's a lot more choices. There's a lot more. The markets move very different. The strategies that work in crypto don't necessarily work in FX and vice versa. So, yes, the only similarity is that you can make money from both. There's movement, and that's how you make money. But the things that you need to do in crypto to make money are very different. The fact that there's a lot of choice means that you have to learn how to manage portfolios. You have to learn how to allocate funds correctly, where to allocate funds, when to use margin, when not to use margin. There's a lot more to it. With FX trading, it's in a way it's a bit simpler in many ways. But one thing that I'll say to you is if you master crypto trading, you will become a better FX trader. So, because I can say to you with my experience that having mastered scalping the S&P and the Dow many, many years ago, it's made me into a much better FX trader because I can read price. Because skills are transferable. But if you are a very experienced FX trader, like 10 years plus, like me and others, then you can migrate, but there's still a learning curve. Like I've been trading for 18 years and there was a learning curve. Like I couldn't just go from FX and just trade cryptos without testing, back testing, trying a few things and learning what works. So, but if you're new and you're somebody who's been trading for less than 10 years, I would say it's not going to be, it's not easy to do, and it can be dangerous as well. So you have to be careful. You need to make sure that you get some help before you do it.
I'd 100% agree with that. And just to clarify, because I realized the NAN or the Dan Bilzerian option, we didn't kind of say which one was which. So thanks to Frosty for jumping in there. FX is your NAN. Now that's not a bad thing. You know what you're going to get. You know where the opportunities are. You know your tea and biscuits are coming. So you kind of go with an empty stomach and you know you're going to load up on scones and biscuits and tea. With the crypto market is literally you're overstimulated. For someone like me who's been in this less than a year, and I've very specifically trained on how to trade FX, and it is a very, very different beast. So it's like I've almost been starting again. But what I would say is, even though you are overstimulated, even though like Frosty's saying, I think it was Frosty again, Binance isn't the easiest platform to use, but having said that, there are so many opportunities. And like, I'm turning away cryptos because there was one trade I did in Hive, and it got to 70% profit on my investment, and I didn't take it because I was like, well, no, I'm waiting for it to double. Like literally, you are spoiled for choice. It's crazy the amount of options that there are, and Andy's saying, and I'm starting to learn now, like portfolio management, and okay, yeah, you've got your money into one coin that's making you 50%, but you could be in Ripple. I could have taken that money out and put it to use better use somewhere else. There's always layers and layers and layers. And then just this last week, I've gone back to trading some FX, and it's there, like you said about the price action and just reading a few things differently. It's very subtle differences, but very big differences. And they are two completely different beasts. And I'm really blessed and fortunate to be able to kind of be in around it. And there's just so many more opportunities that are opening up for me to make money based on my information that I have on cryptos. And make no bones about it, guys, cryptos is the way forwards. There's going to be more opportunities moving forwards. Once you have a gist of cryptos, it kind of puts you ahead for other opportunities before other people even know about them, is the big takeaway that I would say from this.
Yeah, definitely. And like, you know, and a big part of it sometimes it's just that like it improves your decision making as well, because like it's not just a simple, hey, you know, in some respects you have a little bit of this in FX, but not as much as this, where like you could literally have a list of 10, 20, 30 coins that you want to buy, but you can't buy them all. And then you've got to make it right. So which one do you like the most? Because you've got a limited amount of capital, and that's important as well. You need to risk money you can afford. I want to kind of stress that point as well, because it's easy to kind of just be like, hey, I want to buy all of them, so let me just keep topping my account up with money that I'm not really willing to lose because I don't want to miss out and I want to make millions. But we don't want you to do that. We want you to make money. So if you've got some spare capital that you're happy to risk, you can, it will grow a lot more than, you know, well, the bank, it doesn't grow, like inflation erodes it. So actually you're losing, and that's an important thing to note, guys. You're losing money if you've got savings in the bank, you are losing money every day, because, you know, the interest that you get paid is less than the inflation. So you have to invest your money. It's just a question of where you want to invest it. Do you want to be just a long-term passive investor? You just buy, you know, you can buy Bitcoin, you can buy Ethereum and just hold them. But if you want more than that, you know, obviously that's what we're talking about here. I think you need to get really, really deep into this, learn how to identify coins and how to manage them, how to manage your portfolio. And I think that is just by practice. I mean, Frosty's saying there, you know, you're still something you're trying to learn, but you learn it by just doing it, and it just feels natural to know where you should be putting your money. Like, I give the ratio of 50, 30, 20, but you can move that ratio slightly, but that's kind of a safe ratio. 50% spot, 30% margin, 20% futures. And if you don't want to trade it, day trade, you don't really need the futures per se. You could just do, you know, maybe 50-50 margin with spot. I tend to have slightly more with margin. So like 40-60. So 40 spot, 60 margin. But I'm an experienced trader, and I manage my positions, and I set alerts, and I put stops, and I'm very well prepared. So, and psychologically very well developed and prepared. And that's important, because make no bones about it, when these cryptos correct, they are vicious. And, you know, you're going to see a deep correction on your account. And if you're not prepared for that, if you're not mentally, but also if you're not managing risk accordingly, and your account can't sustain it, you'll blow up and you'll lose money instead of making money. So if you're not going to do, if you, in my opinion, if you're not going to get trained by spot, like, don't use margin if you're untrained. like if you don't have a good understanding of how leverage works. But if you want to make above average returns, you have to use some margin.
And that goes to another question that someone else has said, or it could just be the same person. We don't know. So again, log into the StreamYard link. Probably if you're new at this time of the day, it's the first one we've done at midday. So that's cool. If the value of the coin goes down, you lose what you bought it for. So do you want to answer that one? Because you kind of touched on it, but that kind of follows on to that.
So if the value of the coin goes down, you lose what you bought it for. So if you buy at spot, the only way you're going to lose is if the coin basically disappears, so it goes to zero, and it can. So that's the one thing. So you've got spot, and you've got then low risk, medium risk, high risk. So the high risk are the ones that are new. They don't have anything really working yet. It's just ideas, and they're still building their team, and they're raising funds to build their concepts. And so that's going to be the highest risk at that point. But that's also going to yield you the most potential return. You could just go buy that coin. You could put $100 in it, $200 in it, and if it explodes higher, they develop something that could be worth, life-changing amounts. And then you could buy spot with established coins that are low risk, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, which the chances of them going to zero is very remote, very small. Possible. Anything's possible. You have to bear that in mind. But it's very, very remote. It's a very, very rare, very, very unlikely that they're going to go to zero. So even if it corrects, as long as that asset increases, you're going to make money. But the problem is that, if you think of it like this, if you go buy one Ethereum right now, and it's not a bad thing to do, by the way, but let's say you've got 2,000 to invest, you go and buy one Ethereum. Well, if it goes to 10,000, you've made 8K. Okay, so it's not bad. Nobody's saying that's bad. You made 8K profit if it does that in, say, the next 12 months. But I don't know. In my opinion, you could do way, way better by buying something that is slightly higher risk. For example, to give you some ideas, you could buy a crypto that works on Ethereum. So an application of Ethereum, and that will have a much higher percentage increase probably than Ethereum if it's a good project that solves a big problem. So therefore your 2,000 could maybe become 30,000 or 40,000 as an example. So that's just by buying spot. Now, to give you the same example, you could do the same thing, but use margin. And when you use margin, you're still only going to ever risk your 2,000. But what you're doing is you're increasing the risk, because now the crypto doesn't have to go to zero anymore. You're going to decide where your stop is going to be. So obviously, the tighter your stop, the more likely you are to lose that $2,000. But also, the more money you're going to make at the same time. So if you're good at technical analysis, if you do, like XRP is a perfect example of, I timed that market literally to the bottom of it. So I was able to use margin and still have low risk in terms of how much money I was risking, because my stop was fairly tight. Because I literally said, if it goes below that triangle, I'm out for now, and then I'll see what happens. And that's literally what the plan was for that. So I was able to use margin, borrowed, and then I could make a lot more. So you've got you've got margin, which increases risk. You've got spot, which is the lowest risk. And then you've got different types of coins that can be low risk and high risk. So it depends. So if you go with a high risk coin or margin, that's the maximum risk you can take. Gives you the most amount of money, reward, but it's very easy to also get wiped out. So you have to understand all of these things, how to combine them, and just be sensible. So like if you're going for a high risk coin with margin, for example, don't put half your account on it. Put a fraction. If you've got 2,000, put $50 on it, because that can still explode higher, and $50 can become 500 easily, very quickly. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say on that, really.
Awesome. So guys, I hope you're getting some value. I don't know if it cut out when I was about to say that you've 6x'd your account. So there's a handful of traders in the world that are kind of getting these results in cryptos, and we're lucky to have this guy here. I know I give him a lot of stick, and we have a lot of banter and stuff like that, but credit where credit's due. Even though you support a rubbish football team, your crypto skills are amazing. And yes, he does make it sound easy and straightforward, because he's earned the right to say that. And one thing for me, as someone that is around him and wants to kind of try and emulate and catch up, it's been a race to try and get rich, and that's the wrong attitude. And I've realized that it's like, let's have fun with the game. Let's enjoy trying to find these crypto coins and identifying them, and understanding the recipe there's so much power in that. And then just we'll do it in our way, and we'll make mistakes and we'll make wins. And some people are doubling their account. Some people are making 20%. Some people are still scratch whilst they're still learning. It's not a race. There is still an opportunity as long as you've given yourself enough time. It's not like we're trying to shoe end the last bit of the trend line or of the bull run. So at the moment, everybody's talking about it within our community. But until the mainstream start talking about it as much as we are, that's probably a sign that you're getting in too late if you decide to take action then. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I still think, like, you know, to think that I've 6x'd my account in 3 months is mind blowing for me, because that's not the way I would normally approach the markets. But it's not even me sort of taking too much risk on. Like, I trade really like FX. The difference is that I mean I manage risk like FX. The difference is that the moves that you get are explosive. So it's amazing. Like, it feels like kids play cryptos compared to FX. Like, in FX, you've got institutional traps, you've got institutions basically manipulating the market. You don't really get that in cryptos. And I just find that once you've identified something, and it's just either going to go or it's not. And when it goes, it really goes, and you can make a lot out of a little. So, and quite frankly, I honestly believe, hand on heart, that there's still so much more room to grow. So I don't want to kind of jinx myself, but I'd be surprised if in 3 months' time we're sitting here having a conversation and my account hasn't grown significantly from where it is today. I don't want to give myself any, because 6xing in 3 months is not normal, but it seems normal in this market. And who knows what I can do. I mean, who knows what will happen in the next, because the thing is, like you said, mate, it's not even me doing it. Like, you could say, oh, he's an experienced trader, but we've got absolute beginners doubling accounts. I mean, that's insane to me, like absolutely insane. So like in a month, or in...
Well, got to give a shout out to Lorian, who's a landscape gardener. He tripled his account in the first 2 weeks. Yeah,
I mean, that's an example, but like, you know, there's so many examples, and obviously it doesn't matter where you are. The biggest thing is that you should use that as inspiration. Whoever is achieving great results and who hasn't been trading for very long, use it as inspiration for your own gains. But even if you're down, even if you're scratch, the most important thing to remember is the opportunity is there, and it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. So if you've lost some money in cryptos, if you've blown up an account, whatever you've done in the past or in FX or whatever it is, champions bounce back immediately and go and make money. And that's the best advice I can give you. That's one of the things that I'm probably had a lot of practice on, and that's why I'm good at it. But I'm very good at dealing with adversity. I think I openly made myself vulnerable and admitted to you guys, like, was it a couple of months ago, that, you know, I made a really big mistake on Binance, and I thought I owned, you know, a particular crypto by, you know, a certain amount of it, and I calculated I would have been about 20k up or something like. I've forgotten the numbers now. I thought I'd made about 20k in a day, and then I figured out actually I hadn't. I didn't do what I thought I was doing. And, you know, the natural thing is to think like, God damn it, like, you know, what an idiot. Like, how could I, you know, but I guess, like, I processed that stuff very quickly. And it's not because 20k is a significant amount of money to make in a day for anyone. So, like, it's not like I'm like, oh, it's only 20. It's a lot of money. So, like, it wasn't like I thought, and I literally, what I'd recommend you do is any setback, just process it, make it a matter of fact, and move on, and just start dealing with, like, what's happened is happened. Now we've got to move forward. What have I learned from that that's going to make me way more money than that experience? Or what have I learned that's going to make me 10x that amount of money? And I'm going to use it as fuel. Like, I've just fueled myself now. Anger, whatever it is, I fueled myself, and now I'm ready. And immediately I figured out, okay, now I know what I've done. I know that I'm not going to be doing that again. And then I was able just to focus on the job at hand, which is to grow my account. And that's what you have to do. Like, if you sit there beating yourself up that that's happened, or this has happened, or I've missed Bitcoin, I should have bought it, I was going to buy it at 3,000, my wife told me not to buy it, whatever rubbish you're telling yourself, it's gone. It's all gone. Now you've got to focus. What do we need to do to make money today? Where's the opportunity today? Take action and make it happen today. Today's the only day we've got. We haven't got any other day.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So are you able to just get a quick trade up? Maybe something that you're looking at now. I mean, that's the difference. That's the difference. And just while you're doing that, that's the difference of this group. We share the wins and the losses. I know I shared one a few weeks ago. I managed to get my account 83 or 88% up. And then over the weekend, I ended up making more. I got into 5-minute scalping. I wanted to try that, have that experience. I ended up losing my profits and was a little bit down. Sab, who's an experienced trader, he's doing really well, but he's only been doing it for less than a year. He admitted that he had FOMO and he was doing some trial and errors, and he was still like 24% up, I think it was in his first week. Michael Bruce, again, experienced in life, but everybody's got their own story. So he's had ups, he's had downs. And then he posted in the group that he placed a trade overnight and he was 280 quid up when he woke up the next morning. It's things like that. We don't just celebrate the wins. It's about being accountable. And, you know, we're not going to say that the grass is greener if you do decide to do cryptos. You 100% have to be accountable. But if you think it's in front of you to do, then by all means you won't regret it. And everybody that's done the course so far has definitely said that it's something that they have not regretted, whether they're scratch, whether they realize that there's opportunities to make money, or whether they're actually making money now. So I just wanted to say that because that's the difference of our group, and that's the realness of the group in general. So with that being said, have you got a trade that you're going to show us how you're going to make $1 million out of?
Not quite. No, I'm looking, to be quite honest with you, I'm looking at a few, and the thing is you know, there's ones that, you know, there's ones that you always like regret not getting in, or you should not regret, but like ones that have kind of run away a little bit and are running away from you. So you have to kind of come up with price points. I'll be honest, one of those is BitTorrent, which admittedly I didn't get into, which I knew about, but I didn't get into it. And I have placed some alerts. It did actually spike down whilst we were on this, but I didn't put an order in. But it didn't quite get to my level, but it got very close to just below a cent. It's bounced up now. But what I'm looking for, if I'm going to buy something, this is a little bit like Ripple in some respects. Not quite the same, because Ripple was undervalued. This is on the ascendancy, but the similarity is that we're in a triangle here. So I think this is a great crypto. Now, there's two ways to play this one. The ideal way would be if we can get that to happen, so you kind of can see here we've got 1 bounce, 2 bounces, 3 bounces, and ideally about 1822 would be great. And you can see it's a really nice little level there. So if you can buy Atom for around that sort of price, I think that represents really good value. Now, let me just talk about 1 second. So let me just get our trend lines out. I just want to see if there's anything else here that we need to be aware of. See if there's any trend line that actually falls in line. I don't think it does, to be fair. No, I don't think it does. Now, I think maybe you could argue, yeah, so it's not really, we're kind of there. It's a really important point here. So it's a difficult one. So this is one that I want to be in. I've got to be honest, and I'm not in this one. But I do want to be in because I do think this one has got a lot of potential, not just from a technical point of view, but from a fundamental point of view. However, this is one that I was looking at and thinking, well, I can't really buy it here. It just doesn't make sense. As much as I want to buy it, it just doesn't make sense because I'm basically up against resistance here. So ideally, we place a buy order around here. We definitely want to use order flow. We want to see where the demand is and we can jump in just in front of it. But option number 2 will be, if it pushes through, is to then look for maybe a pullback like there, look at the VWAP and then buy it. So essentially this is a good example of portfolio management. Could we buy this at spot, right? We could buy this at spot at 22 right here. And then it could break up, it could go down. So maybe it does that and then it does that, right? For example. And then, you look at that in a couple of months and then you say, well, I bought Atom at 22.6 and I'm up, 30% on that. Great trade. That's true. That would be a fact. But if this does happen and you bought it here, like that's about, I don't know, a week or so there. So, or yeah, say a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks in crypto is like 2 years. So,
at your nan's house.
Yeah, at your nan's house. So you're basically, the opportunity cost now is that you could have used those funds. So you've got an order in the market not doing anything, or you're filled in the market, so you buy it right now, and then the market is just pulling back, and you're patient and you hold on. You don't. I mean, you're going to buy a spot here. You definitely not going to. If you're going to buy a spot, it's almost fine. You just want to play it safe. But if you want to use margin, you have to get it here. But the difference of, like, let's say you do get it here, and that's the low, and you could say, look, if it goes below, I don't know, wherever, 14, for example, I want to be out. Look at literally look at the risk. Let me just put it in. So I'm just going to, this hopefully will really hit home of the difference. So, right, that's your risk now. Okay, that's literally your risk. So whatever amount of money you were willing to put in, if you want to put it on margin instead of buying at spot, if this does its potential and does the same thing up here, right, and you get that, your position size is probably, with margin, is probably going to be 5 to 10 times bigger. That's the difference. That's why instead of 30%, you make 300%. So I'm just giving you an example. Like me personally, I'd either be looking to buy it here, or if it shows me that it's ready to go now, then I'm looking to get in somewhere and then ride it up. So otherwise, like for me, I have to stay out of this one, even though I like it and I want to be in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's literally my approach to this. Like it could be my favorite coin, but I'm not interested in that. I'm looking for an opportunity that makes sense.
Great stuff. Look, guys, if this is making sense to you, or if it's not, but you want to learn more, we understand there's only so much that we can cover in this time. What we've decided to do is we're going to do one last masterclass next Wednesday. So we're going to go for about an hour and a half just on, like Andy's talked about a few things in there. He's talked about using order flow. He's talked about a few other things. VWAP in the show. I know you've talked about that. Anybody that's studying the program now knows what VWAP is. I thought it was this mystical thing before, and now I know exactly what it means and how it plays into the makeup of what you're looking to do. So if you want to tune into that, it will be next Wednesday evening. We haven't even decided a time yet, mate, have we? So probably be like maybe 8. I guess it will be 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah, we'll announce that. Yeah, probably be about 8 o'clock. And it probably is going to be the last one that we do for the time being. But yeah, I think obviously, I think it's more down to you, mate, since you're up at 4 or 5 in the morning for this. But
I'll have to check with Mr. 5G and see when he's not going to be too.
Yeah, you need to sort your internet out, mate. But no, I mean, like who? So yeah, I guess like if you're still kind of on the fence on crypto and you're looking to get into it properly, then those are the sort, that I would recommend that you join us next Wednesday.
Exactly that. And what we are going to do is, just to let you know now, we're going to hold the price for group members. The price after that is definitely going up. So for group members, your group members, if you're already an LTI student and you're watching this now or watching the reruns, you haven't done the cryptos, you've seen the posts, people making money, are like, well, maybe I want a piece of that. We're keeping the prices locked in as they are, but from next Wednesday, they will be going up, and that will be reflected on the website. We're just being transparent, letting you know now. If you don't want to do it, you haven't got the money, that's completely fine. We're just letting you know. And yeah, basically the masterclass, come along to the masterclass, because you're going to learn a ton of stuff just from the masterclass, and then just back out gracefully at the end. That's completely fine. But come along for more experience, because if you are going to trade cryptos, like Andy said, get some sort of training if you can, and try and understand there is a way that people like Andy are making as much as they are. And we're learning that. And some people get it quicker, some people get it slower. It's not a race. It's your own style and your own personality, and your own limiting beliefs, to be honest, as to how much you can put in and how much you can pick up. So with that being said, is there anything you want to say before we finish this call now, mate?
No, it's great, Gavin. That's perfect. I think, like, I know I've kind of been in that mindset in the past, like years ago, where, I think sometimes we feel like, if I could figure it out on my own, I could take that money instead and put it into cryptos myself and then go and make more money. But what often happens is when you don't have that support and you're untrained, it's so easy to lose money that you're better to invest in, and you don't need to invest a lot of money. Yes, of course, the more you have, the more you can make, but you can just grow it slowly. And in cryptos, a little can turn into a lot. Being transparent in FX, if you've got £500, you're not going to make very much. Like, you might be looking to make £50 a month. Crypto, 500, like as we saw with Lauren, as you said, and others, you could turn that into 1,000 very quickly. But you've still got to do correct risk management. So I think that's the main point, really. But yeah, hopefully that's given people some value and some ideas on how I approach the markets. And for those that can join, we'll post something this week. You know, and even if you're, I guess, like if you're on the course, I mean, you know, you're more than welcome to still join us. There's no issue if you want to join us, if you just love us that much. But you know, this is really more for people that are kind of on the fence and not sure. You know, if they want to do cryptos, if they want to learn how to trade it, you know, that's kind of what the event will be designed for. That's all.
Exactly that. So no more comments in the comment section. So thank you everybody for tuning in. A different time, but this is the new time now for the time being for Crypto Like a Pro. So midday from Tuesdays. So make sure you spread the word, and obviously people will be watching this on the reruns. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday if you're going to be there. Otherwise, if you're more, you think, well, yeah, no, this sounds too risky. It sounds like it's too fast paced. FX is for you. We'll be doing the FX show on Thursday evening, Pips Like a Pro. And if that's your lane, then you stick with that and focus on that. So we'll see you on Thursday night for the Pips Like a Pro show.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thanks for being here midday. We changed the time, but people still showed up.
We love that.
We love that. Thank you. Appreciate you, guys. Thank you.
Delle genti passeranno, oh bella ciao, 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 ciao.